Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to TechTubeCentral. I'm back with another casual review. This time I have a review of the EVO V 4G on Virgin Mobile. This phone is originally named the EVO 3D on Sprint and has come to Virgin Mobile in this past May. And it's a very nice budget smartphone. So if you don't want to spend a lot on a smartphone and you want a great deal in terms of service and don't want a 2-year contract, this is going to be a great option for you. I picked this up because I was thinking about switching to Virgin Mobile, and I wanted to get a review unit before I went ahead and purchased it. I most likely will be picking this up because for a few reasons. One, I do not like paying a lot for my cell phone bill. I don't think there's really a necessary need to spend a bunch of money. I'm talking $100 a month on a smartphone. That's just ridiculous. I'm not on the go that often. I'm not a business person, so there's really no need for me to go ahead and spend a lot on the smartphone. I go to school, I come back, I use the computer, I do homework, and then on the weekends I just chill. And for someone like me, it's not really practical to spend a lot on a phone. And I love having a smartphone, don't get me wrong, but I don't really think it's a need like some people do. And this is a great option for those people. I think it's actually a really impressive smartphone. It has a dual core processor that I believe runs at 1.4 or 1.6 gigahertz. Now, keep that in mind. It's a dual core processor. It does not have a quad core processor, so this phone automatically sucks because you totally need a quad core processor in a phone. No, that is BS. You do not necessarily need that in a phone. In fact, I consider it a little bit overkill. But this is actually very nice. It is an HTC phone, and I love HTC Sense. I'm a huge, firm believer in HTC Sense. Now, I'll get into that in a minute. Up top, you do have your headphone jack along with your lock button, and then on the back you do have HTC branding. You will have a Virgin Mobile logo. This is one of their older review units, so it does say Sprint on the top. However, yours will most likely say Virgin Mobile right there. You do have two back-facing cameras that do take 3D pictures. I will get into that in a second as well. Up front, you do have a few different buttons, such as the home button, the menu button, the back button, and a dedicated search button. So let's get into those cameras real quick, because I know people are going to ask about that. And this is how I kind of view it. You know those baseball cards that you used to collect when you were a kid? Or just if you've ever seen those holographic cards before, that's kind of what it's like. So let me just go to camera. And this does have swipe, which is quite nice that they did include it on the smartphone. And it is indeed running Android version ice cream sandwich. And so I can go ahead and take a photo of something if I wanted to. So if I wanted to take a photo of something near me, I could. But what's interesting is there's a big old camera button right there, and you see this right there? Let's just show you. There is a 2D and 3D toggle switch. So if I toggle this to 3D, all photos that I push this button with are going to be in 3D. So if I go ahead and take a photo, and there is a flash, which is quite nice, and that's very cool that you would have that on this kind of budget smartphone. And it's kind of like baseball cards. It won't go through in video, but I mean, it is kind of cool. It's like baseball cards. It's cool with portraits, but it's not something you should really go out and buy a smartphone directly for. So here I have a 3D photo, and if I wiggle it back and forth, you will see that it is kind of like a baseball card. So not something you should get this phone over, but it's just a little tiny added bonus, kind of gimmicky in my opinion, but it's still kind of a cool option. You can't send those photos to other EVO 3G users or EVO V 4G users, which would be cool. My brother actually did go ahead and purchase one of these after I got this review unit, so that's how you know it's a good phone. Now, it runs for $300, and you have to think there's no contract. So this actually is their highest end Android smartphone. There is the iPhone. I would go with this one over their iPhone. It's half the price, and it has a faster processor, and it's running Android, and it has a nice big screen. I like that. You can actually get a micro SD card for this, which is nice. So if I take off the back here, you can see that I have the two back-facing cameras and the big battery, and this does have good battery life. But as you can see, it does take micro SD cards. So if I flip it around, you will see that it does take micro SD. So I have a Kingston card in here. I believe that is 8 gigabytes. Yeah, it says 8 gigabytes. So keep that in mind. You probably might want to get a new card because 8 gigabytes may seem like a lot, but it actually takes up a lot of storage with all the files on here. So let's go over the pros and cons real quickly once again. Front-facing camera, nice, cool to lock in with. Back-facing cameras, cool, kind of gimmicky. HTC swipe, awesome. Newest version of Android, awesome. Didn't seem slow. Thickness, it is very thick, but I would much rather have this phone over something on a different network where it is going to be very expensive to be on. So personally, I think this is an epic win. If you are looking for a phone on Virgin Mobile, this is the phone to get, and it is their most high end. It does cost $300, but you have to think about it. If you want a nice Android experience and you don't want to spend a lot for a smartphone, and you decide to go with Virgin Mobile, this is going to be the phone you're going to want to go with. I will catch you guys in another TechTubeCentral video. I hope you enjoyed this review. Please give it a comment, rate, and subscribe. And like I said, thumbs up the video as it really does help me out. I will catch you guys later.